Wow. Just wow. This drama is a perfect 10 for me. Just with the scene in the classroom where he's basically bashing in the head of his bully. Like, it's a perfect 10 just with that. Like, I who knew I liked violence. But we've all wanted to do that to somebody that got on our nerves. Like, when I was in primary school, I remember thinking there were a few teachers that pissed me off. And I remember imagining just just talking back to them. It never happened because I'm a bit of a coward like that. But like, Shi Eun fulfills my dream 100%. So like, seeing that scene was just like, oh my god, yes. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of the Dramaturgy podcast. In this episode, I cover Week Hero Class 1, which stars Park Ji-eun, Choi Hyun-wook, and Hong Kyung. I believe this drama came out in November of 2022, but I remember watching the trailer a lot earlier, and I remember thinking, just as I was watching the trailer, I could tell immediately that this would be one of my favorite dramas to come. Like, it would be a drama that I would not forget for a very long time, because in that one scene where he's basically calculating the formula that would work best to cause the most damage to his classmate, that scene was just, it was so violent, but I was sold. I was like checking the My Drama List page for this drama like every day just to see what people were saying. And I learned from the Drama List page that this is originally a manhwa, like it's a comic that is being adapted for TV. And I mean, a lot of people will probably have something to say, I'm sure. I've seen some people mention that it's not true in some ways, or it's not true to like the original comic in some ways. But like, I'm not a fan of anime or manhwa comics, so having very little knowledge of the original comic just makes this a perfect 10 for me. Like, there was nothing wrong with it because I have no like prior knowledge, so everything about this drama was just it was amazing. It was a success to me. That's probably what contributes to how much I love this drama. It was so well done. Like, oh my god, it was so good. First of all, great acting by Park Ji-eun. Like, I have seen him in Love Revolution, which is kind of where I first got a hint of this kind of acting, because there's a scene in Love Revolution where he's pissed at the female lead, and his acting in that one scene is just fantastic. For those that watched Love Revolution, it's the scene where he basically throws the milk at her. I don't know what episode that is, but I remember seeing that scene and I remember thinking, oh my god, this is fantastic acting. He actually seems done with her like at that moment. And like, also I watched some of the episodes of the drama At Distance Spring is Green, which was also fantastic. That drama really showcased his acting to a level that I had never seen it before. Like, we all know who Park Ji-eun is, right? Like, he's from 101. He had this cute boy image. Like, this is not where I expected him to go. Very rarely do you see an actor from like this idol persona be this good at acting. It's actually very rare. It's hard for me to think of somebody else off the top of my head. In At Distance Spring is Green, his acting there was like, I felt the sadness, the fear for his father, like the anger he displayed. Like, I was glad for the casting of this drama because I knew Park Ji-eun is a good choice just from his other dramas, right? So when I saw the trailer, I was like, oh my god, I'm sold. Then moving on, Suho is played by Choi Hyun-wook. I remember I saw him in 2521 and he played this kind of a loving, but like, it's a chaotic good friend and classmate of our female lead, right? He's the one that I guess liked the other fencer. I can't remember what her name was. It was very loving and it was, he was endearing to watch, right? And so I had seen him before in that drama, but I think that was the only place I've ever seen him in. I've not seen him in any other thing until I saw him in Week Hero. And in this drama, he really rocks that seemingly lazy and uninterested. Like, he's one of the best at fighting, but he doesn't show it, right? He doesn't use it for like a bad reason. Like, he only starts fighting when he needs to, or he feels like somebody is going to get hurt. We see in the scene where he basically stops Shi Eun from killing his classmate, because he was like, Shi Eun was definitely going to kill that guy, right? And so it's only moments like that, and I was really, and again guys, spoiler alert if you've not seen this drama, like, I am spoiling a few things because I have to go in detail about everything. So yeah, Suo's character, right? I was really sad for how he ended up because he was easily my favorite. His characterization was so well done that I felt really bad for how he ended up. Then moving on, we also had Shin Sung-go in this drama. I was not expecting to see him because like, I saw him in Alchemy of Souls, and Alchemy of Souls, I think was airing or was about to air at the same time, or was going to air like a month or so after Week Hero, right? Alchemy of Souls Part 2. And I remember thinking, oh my god, the Crown Prince is also in here, right? And so it was just a fantastic, like, I was not going to see him, so it was just nice to see him in this as well. I hope one day he gets a lead role. I know he was in Double Party, but like, I want like lead drama, male lead role. He's a good actor that I really want to see him be the like helm of something, right? And so I look forward to his future like roles, and I hope he gets something more substantial. Then we have Bomsok, who is played by Hong Kyung. And honestly, I have actually never seen this actor before. This is the first drama I've seen him, but his acting is top notch. Honestly, it's very hard to play the kind of character he's playing because he has this very depressed, socially awkward, like, he's doing that unloved kid character very well, right? Like, even the way he speaks, you can tell he's somebody that struggles with social anxiety, right? In this drama, right? He doesn't speak very loudly, right? And honestly, I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for this, but I was one of the people that I felt really bad for his character because, I mean, despite all the terrible things he did, and maybe I felt terrible because of how well the actor played him, right? He was so well played that I just wanted to give him a hug and tell him everything will be okay. Like he needs serious therapy. Like, he needed serious therapy and maybe a new dad as well. Like, honestly, he needs a whole new family at this point because honestly, I felt really bad for him because, I mean, this drama does a real good job at showing you like why good parents are priceless, because all the parents in this drama are kind of terrible in their own way. Bomsok's father obviously takes the cake, right? But even Shi Eun's dad is very kind of hands off, right, in his interaction with his kid, to the point where I'm like, when he gets hurt, I can't recall what he said, but he said in such a like uncaring way that I was like, oh my god, like, your son has injuries on his face and you're not asking enough questions. I mean, how is that okay, right? And so this whole drama, there's a lack of good parenting clearly, right? And so in Bomsok's case, while I know that the abuse and the violence he received from his father does not justify what he did to Suho, I do understand that, like, where he's coming from, or his psyche, in the sense that, you know, he just lacks that good support, right? And he's, as somebody who craves attention, you know, he was going downhill, obviously, right? And increasingly, even though I mentioned that, yeah, I liked him and I wanted to give him a hug, it was increasingly difficult to watch his character. Like, it became increasingly difficult and kind of a disgusting character to watch, because of how bad he kept getting, right? So yeah, great acting by Hong Kyung. Like, I've never seen him in anything, and I hope I see him in like future works because he's also fantastic. Now, I just want to talk about parts I liked in this drama, and I mean, at this point, there's very little to nitpick, but I'll also mention things I kind of did not like. But again, at that point, I'm obviously like nitpicking. Like, there's really very few things to dislike about this drama. So first of all, the things I liked about this drama, like I mentioned, the acting is top notch. Again, Park Ji-yoon he's going to make it big if he's not already big, because like, I don't think there's anybody that can watch this drama and be like if I was a producer or a casting director, the minute I saw Park Ji-yoon acting in this, I would try and cast him in everything. Like, he's just that good. His eyes, the way he looks, the visuals of, you could feel the pain he was going through. It wasn't just, it felt like this is something he dealt with daily, right? The pain of, and I guess the drama never really says it clearly, but I guess he lost his mom, or his mom is separated from them, or something like that. But the pain that he displays, right? The lack of like care for anything that's going on around him. He's like stuck in his own world until Suho kind of pulls him out to an extent, right? It's very good. Like, the acting for that is so good, right? And same with Hong Kyung. Very good acting. They all fit exactly what I would expect from people that are going through what they are going through, right? Bomsok is the kind of person that has gone through so much violence that he's not even able to speak up well because of just how scared he is of his own shadow, right? And then So is the kind of person that he has to work hard for everything he has, but at the same time, it doesn't stop him from, I guess I could say, positive about life, and that shows in his personality too, right? And how he talks to people and, you know, interacts with Shi Eun, right? So it's a very well, like, good acting, honestly. Applause for all the actors in this. Then moving on to the story, that was another thing I really liked about this drama. The story in this is, again, well done. All the characters are kind of written in depth. Like, I could understand their motive for doing things. Even Bomsok, that ends up being a sociopath, like even him I could understand, right? So the story was so well done. I really liked it. And I have to mention specifically the character of Suho, in the sense that Suho is shown as somebody that he works every night, right, to make money, I guess, for his family, right? And so typically, and again, this is something that I've noticed, if a character is a character that they're going to like either kill off, or like the way they do to So, put in a coma that we never hear from him again, right? They usually don't give them enough backstory to make you feel attached to them, because I think even unconsciously for the writer themselves, they know they're going to kill off that character, so they don't give you enough backstory for you to like them, right? But in this story, like, I see So as somebody that I can tell he's working hard because he hopes for a better future for even for himself, right? He works out every night, right? And he has to sleep at school every day, right? And so they give you a good backstory that I felt so bad that somebody with such a bright future like Suo ended up where he did. And so that's what this story does well. It really puts life into the story, into the character of each person, so that you actually feel like you feel the pain when something bad happens to any of them. And then the third thing I really liked about this drama was the friendship. It was, I mean, I think we lived for the romance between Sue and Shi Eun. The very first scene where we see Shi Eun smile is in the hospital, where basically Sue is complimenting him for bringing them food, right? And you see that, like, I don't know what, like, okay, so there's this pause right before Shi Eun smiles where I'm not actually sure what's going to happen, right? And then he smiles, and it's just a beautiful thing. And it was the happiness, and I just wish them happiness in that scene. Like, I wish all of them joy and happiness for the rest of their lives. Like, I just wish they could stay in that moment of just happiness, and nothing bad would ever happen. But that's obviously how we ended up. But still, like, it was just lovely to see the friendship and the romance develop between Suo and Shi Eun, and for Shi Eun to have this friend in Suo, and for Suo to also have that support in Shi Eun. It was so good. I mean, it was so good because it got to the point where they were willing to do and fight for each other. They were willing to do stuff and fight for each other, right? Then another thing that I have to say is, and a lot of people will disagree about this for me, but in terms of writing and just execution, I really liked just the build up to how Bomsok became what he became. Like, because Bomsok starts out as this boy that, yeah, we could tell that he wanted Suo to follow him back, right? I think it was on Instagram or one of those platforms, right? And at first, it seems very minor. Like, it seems like a very minor detail that they are showing us. And again, I wouldn't know because I never read the manual. But it seems very mundane. Like, the fact that Suo is not following him back on social media, right? But this becomes increasingly a problem for Bomsok, right? It becomes something that he's fixated on. It kind of becomes his whole world, like this jealousy and the lack of love that he's unwilling to accept that Suo is not going to follow him back on social media, and that just it eats away at him to the point where he becomes a fatality for not just him but for his friend Suo, right? Or I mean, I guess not you would not call Suo his friend because of what he did to him, but the fact that he's willing to go through such length to injure somebody that he basically, I mean, a lot of people have theorized on this feeling that Bomsok has for Suo, and there are very interesting like theories about it because it seems a little too much, right? But again, I can understand it from the psyche of somebody that is basically mentally unstable at this point, right? Because I mean, we've all had those groups of friends in school where there's always that one person that feels left out, but nobody goes to the length of like trying to get someone killed, right? And so the length he's willing to go because the object of his affection, and I mean, I feel like that's what I can call him at this point, because he seems fixated on Suo, right? It's kind of odd, right? And I like that they put that in the way they did, because it kind of shows you the breakdown of Bomsok, like the scene where he's talking to their female friend that I guess is able to get Suo to follow her back on social media. I think it's Young Yi. that her name is, right? And she's able to become closer to Suo than Bomsok has ever been, even though she came later. That feeling exists in real life with friends, where you could be a long-term friend and a new friend will come and, everything you've not been able to achieve with your friend, they achieve very easily. So I can understand that feeling of being pissed, right? But again, it's so mundane, but I really liked how they put that in there, because it did a good job in showing just how unstable Bomsok was getting as time progressed. And it's sad because I don't even think Shi Eun and Suo knew exactly why he became what he became. Like, no one knew exactly why he became pissed the way he did. Like, they keep asking him, like, what's wrong? Like, why are you hanging out with these people? But he never really says anything, right? Because again, it's a very embarrassing feeling to have, right? That you're so pissed that your friend is not following you back on social media, is not paying as much attention to you, right? I guess that's the root of it, that they are not paying as much attention to him, right? That he basically seeks out attention and love from someone else. Like, our parents always tell us when we were young that, like, don't go looking for attention where you really don't want attention, right? So it's that kind of thing where he's seeking attention from anybody that will give him, and he's willing to go through lengths to basically hurt the person that I guess never gave him the attention he wants. And it's interesting. I find it also interesting that, and they never explain this, of why Suo never follows him back. Because it's, again, I think there's a point where he asks on social media that, can you follow me back? And Suo never, like, responds, right? He never follows him back. And I don't know what the reason for that could be. It's either that Suo just did not care enough. Again, he's maybe busy, like, he just did not care enough to follow him back, or maybe he kind of could sense that Bomsok wasn't a good person, in the sense that Bomsok was kind of fishy in a way. Maybe that's also it. And so it's one of those two things, right? Either he just didn't care enough to, right? I guess that's what Bomsok hates, that Suo just does not pay enough attention and does not care enough about him to follow him back on social media, right? Or he could sense that there was something off our Bomsok and that he wasn't a really good friend. And Suo ended up paying for that in the way he did, right? And it's interesting that the scene where he basically realizes that Suo is not moving, he's not responding, it's very interesting to me because he breaks down in tears, right? Because, again, that's the thing. Suo is basically the object of his affection. Like, he really wants Suo to like him, right? And so it was very well done. Like, that whole scene was so good because it was very conflicting emotions for Bomsok, right? He clearly doesn't like the fact that Suo is not paying any regard to him, but at the same time, again, he really, really likes Suo, right? And so that scene where he basically breaks down because he realizes what he's done to his friend and to the person that he really likes, right? It's so well done. I really enjoyed that scene because I know people hate his character, but that's really the core of it, that he's actually very mentally unstable. And it's basically what sociopaths become, right? Like, his psyche is very interesting, and I mean, we are not seeing him again most likely, and they're never going to, like, talk about his character again. But I was thinking that having an physically abusive dad, that's basically very powerful, right? That even though you're scared of your father, of this father, and again, he's adopted dad, right? So even though you're scared of this father, I imagine that he's been basically groomed to also feel grateful to his dad for basically adopting him. So he has basically internalized all those beatings that he gets, right? And so even though he hates his dad, right, he also is thankful and he loves his dad, which is, I'm sure it's a odd thing, but I wish they talked more about that or, like, explore that. But we only had, like, I think 6 or 8 episodes, so they never really go deep into that. But yeah, his character was the saddest to me because his character really went downhill, right? He could not figure out a way to express his emotions in the correct way, because really all he had to do was go up to Suo in person and ask him to follow him back, and that would have been it. But again, it doesn't fit the dynamic he's trying to go with, right? He wants it to be an effortless thing. The way, like, popular people, like, follow each other, right? He doesn't want to have to beg for it, right? Because that seems pathetic, right? That's why he just kept getting increasingly angry because of this little thing. And it's unfortunate. Shi Eun could not obviously see that coming, right? And I felt really bad for his character, even though I really hated his character as time went on and what he kept doing. And I mean, I was in tears when Bomsok basically breaks down when he realizes Suo isn't responding, right? And that whole scene was, oh my gosh, I really cried when I saw that. I kept praying that, like, Suo was okay because, oh my god, I love him so much. Suo's character is so good and he did not deserve anything that happened to him. Another thing I really liked about this drama, and this is something I wasn't expecting, given, again, I don't know who the producers of this drama is, who is sponsoring this, and who produced this, but I wasn't expecting to be as good, like the action to be as good as it was. It was so good. From the very first scene where he's beating up his classmate, right, to other scenes, right? I don't know, I just wasn't expecting it to be as good as it was, but everything, even the violence I was there for, like, it was so well done, right? The whole action scene, like, I give it up to everybody that worked on this. So well done. I look forward to season 2 on, like, just more of that. So now, things I disliked about this drama. And again, at this point, the drama is spectacular. Like, there's very little wrong with it. But if I had to, like, nitpick, and a lot of people are going to, like, hate me for this, but I wish we had seen more bonding moments between Shi Eun and Suho. At least I needed a little bit more to be able to justify why they were willing to go to the lengths they did for each other, right? Like the length that Shi Eun was willing to go to avenge him, right? I needed to see more to believe that was real, right? And again, this is just, again, I'm nitpicking because honestly, I could understand that given Shi Eun having no other friends, and so being that kind of best friend that he gained very quickly and lost very quickly, I understand that he could go to that length for that, but I wish I had seen more of the friendship moments, of them really becoming something important to one another, right? They kind of don't give you that much because there's a lot going on. But again, I'm nitpicking at this point. The drama is great. Another issue I found with this drama, and again, this is not an issue with, like, it's not an issue with the drama itself, but just with the society, like, this drama is set in. It's very sad because you realize the kids in this drama, they are never really allowed to be kids, right? Some of them are selling drugs. Some of them are like gangsters. Like, there was a scene where, like, couple of scenes where these boys were basically threatening our main characters. They come to the school and they basically linger around the school so that when the boys come out, they'll basically see them. And I remember thinking, are there no authorities allowed? How is this allowed to happen? Usually when there's a school nearby, like, you can't just loiter around. Oh my God, you don't just, like, it's not allowed. Like, so it was very odd to me just how alone all these kids were, right? And maybe I shouldn't be shocked that there was no police being called, because I remember there's this scene where Bomsok's father basically sends his secretary, right, to the police to basically bail his kid out of jail, right? And there's a scene in the office where and this is the police station, right? The scene where the secretary basically gives Bomsok permission to hit the gangster back. And I'm thinking, it's in the police office, like in the police station, is this allowed, right? And so I guess I shouldn't expect a lot from the police. They all, like, dance to the tune of powerful people. But yeah, like, that was just very odd to me and very scary that could exist. They are living in an adult world even though they are kids, and they're not even living in an adult world. They are living in a dark world that kids really should not be anywhere near, right? And so that was the sad thing for me about this drama that I felt really bad about. But again, it's not a criticism of this drama, it's just a criticism of, I guess, society as a whole. But yeah, like, honestly, this drama was fantastic. I really, really enjoyed it. I look forward to season 2, like a lot of people, I'm sure. This drama gets a 10. It's a 10 out of 10 for me. Like, oh my God, I need recommendations at this point for some things similar to this, because, oh my God, I was not expecting to enjoy. Okay, I guess I was expecting to enjoy this because I saw the trailer before, and the trailer just took me by surprise. I remember going on my drama list and checking comments every day leading up to the airing of this drama. So I'm honestly looking forward to season 2. I don't know when it comes out, but I am here for it. Like, honestly, the best. 10 out of 10. Yeah, so that's my review of Week Hero Class 1. I really enjoyed it. Thank you guys so much for listening. Bye.